Hey guys, welcome back to another Helix video. Today I want to talk about a technique that is certainly not reinventing the wheel. It's something that's been done a lot over the years, different players, different styles and genres, and that is using an EQ pedal to both shape the tone and also to push an amp into overdrive. So the basic concept is, the harder you hit the front of the amp, be it a real world amp or an amp model, the more you're going to push the amp into an overdriven state. So it's really cool to be able to have that option with an EQ because then you can actually tune the specific frequencies you want to boost or cut, which is kind of fun. I've been working on a new preset pack, and I just found kind of rediscovered this method, and it's just because it's very fast. I just want a little more gain out of the amp. I don't want to have to go through 10 distortion pedal models to kind of figure out what flavor I want. I just want more distortion, and if there's some boosts and cuts, right there, the EQ can take care of it. In addition, if you put the EQ after the amp model, you can use it as a clean boost and also to boost or cut any frequencies you may find lacking or offending. So, all that being said, let's hop over to HX Edit and take a look at what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we are in HX Edit, taking a look at this preset using the Fender US Princess or Princeton, using the matching cabinets, the 112 and the 110. Pretty standard compression and reverb kind of setup. Throw a little more reverb. We got two EQ blocks. They're both 10 band, one pre and one post. And we'll talk about the differences of running them and which position and what's more advantageous for what you want to accomplish. So the first thing, here's the amp sound. Neck pickup and then bridge pickup. Sounds like a clean Fender amp, right? So the only thing I've done with this EQ, it's completely flat. Let me make sure I tell you no lies. All right, completely flat, and I have the output level dimed all the way up to 15 dB. I'm going to kick over to the bridge pickup, and this is what it sounds like. Pretty good overdrive sound, in my opinion. If we want to do something on the neck pickup. We've still got some overdrive there. So right away, in essence, it acts like an overdrive pedal. Now, it's not overdriving your guitar signal, such as an overdrive pedal would. All the models of overdrive pedals are clipping the signal. What this is doing is hitting the front end of the amp model so hard that the amp model is clipping. So it's just semantics. It's not technically an overdrive block, but it's a block that causes overdrive, if that makes sense. So, right away, if you just want to, a quick and easy transparent boost, I found this works great, particularly with the Fender amp models. It works with everything, but I've just found that with the Fender amp models, they just take that hit in the front end really nicely. I really like the tones you get. So let's say you want to do a little tone shaping, like let's say a tube screamer, for instance, with the, I believe I looked this up, with the tone knob in the middle. When you boost a tube screamer, you get a little bit of a boost around the 2K range. So let's bump up the 2K a little bit and see what that sounds like. So with it off, let's pull it back down. And you just hear the difference, whether you like it or not, like prefer it or not, but there, you can hear it boosting the high end. Let's say we want to kind of complement that with adding a little low mid. So it's just, I'm exaggerating these more than you probably would, just dialing it in, just to kind of show you what you can do with the tone shaping. If it's a little muddy, you can pull out a bunch of 125 hertz. Bring them back in. Which it wasn't muddy to begin with, but just to show you, like, you have the 10 band to be able to kind of massage the frequencies depending on what the amp model's sounding like, what you want it to sound like. It's just very versatile. And like I said, in building some presets recently, rather than just going through a bunch of drive pedals to try to find the right one, when I just wanted to push the amp, this trick worked really well. You can also do this pretty much the same thing with a gain block. You can boost it up. The reason I like, say, the 10 band EQ better is to have the option of boosting and adding frequency, or boosting and cutting rather frequencies as needed. So that's a fun little trick you can do to add a little push to the front of your amp. Another thing, the EQ blocks are very, very low in DSP, and the distortion blocks vary, quite a bit in terms of how much DSP each one uses. So, if you've got a preset and you're pretty much pushing it, is about as far as you can get away with before you run out of DSP power. You want to push the amp a little harder, an EQ or a gain block is a great way to do that with low overhead. Now, very quickly, if you put the EQ pedal after the amp and cab and you boost the level, you're just going to get a louder sound. So, if you need a lead boost, this can work as a lead boost because, again, you're just affecting volume. You're not changing anything about the amp model. Also, if you boost or cut frequencies after the amp model, you're going to get a truer sense of those frequencies, because when I do it before the amp model, it still runs through the amp model and all the EQ the amp model's doing, and then the EQ that the cab blocks are applying. So even though I'm boosting and cutting in front of the amp, it's not quite as one-to-one as it is boosting and cutting after. So again, if you feel like you got a muddy tone, or you just need a little more brightness or high end, adjusting these frequencies after the amp works really, really well for that. And again, if you just want a clean boost, and as I mentioned, like this gain block will do the same thing. If you don't need to boost or cut any frequencies, all you're doing is you doing the level control. This gain block is going to do the same thing. But again, I like having the option of just, massaging little frequencies here and there. It just gives you, sometimes it can take it from that's good to, man, that's really good. So that's pretty much what I had to talk about on this one. I'll go ahead and post this up on Line 6 Custom Tone. I'll put the link to the download in the description below, so you're free to go download this patch. Again, this is kind of more of a template style patch. Put your own amp, cab, make it your own. But, you'll have these two EQ blocks to play around with and try out these concepts and see how they work for you. So as always, thanks for watching the video and kind of paying attention to the channel. Thanks for the likes and subscribes and the comments. You guys are great. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.